do you call a fish with no eyes? Now you might think the answer is a blind fish, but what if I told you that wasn't actually true? What if I told you the answer is just one small piece belonging to a much bigger puzzle? See, the history of fish-related humor has existed ever since the dawn of the Baba Tata era, when humanity bore witness to the birth of the dad. During this time, we also saw the rise of the stepdad, the dad-in-law, and last but not least, the sugar dad. Now what's interesting is that when these dads emerged from their underground booze cocoons looking for small boys they could play catch with or abandon, they instead found the lost city of Atlantis, and with it, some fishy inhabitants. The dad's first instincts, as is common with mankind, was to attack that which was different. They grabbed their gunpowdered lace cigars, their golf clubs, their divorce papers, which were folded into origami throwing stars, and they laid waste on the fish capital of the world. Millions of fish died that day. Mothers wept as their children died. Brothers watched brothers pass into the next life. The dads, too, saw their fair share of casualties. All seemed hopeless until my dad arrived. See, my dad is cooler than your guys' dad. He works for Microsoft and gets all the computers super early. He also has a very strong moral compass. All this bloodshed caused him to weep. He even clenched his bad knee in rage. This had to end. What felt like hours passed. Casualties rose up into the millions. It was a total fish fry. But somewhere in the capital of Atlantis was one very special fish. A fish called Wanda. When Wanda was a little fish girl, she had the starring role in a horrific tragedy. A fish trucker was transporting radioactive chemicals on that fateful day. See, the trucker was listening to a really funny podcast. One so funny that it made him think that maybe one day he too could have a very funny podcast. Maybe a podcast that could be a place where fish truck drivers of all sorts could come on and share their crazy trucker stories. It could be a way to offer some sort of company to all the lone truckers out there, as it is quite the lonely job. The thought was so beautiful, it caused the trucker to cry. Cry so hard he couldn't see the road right in front of him. The road which our friend Wanda was currently doing yoga on. The collision sent the trucker to jail that day. The guilt ate him up in the end. He flushed himself and his podcasting dreams down the toilet 6 months later. The accident also blinded Wanda. She lost her 2 eyeballs. She became a fish with no eyes. As my dad tried to put an end to this great dad-fish conflict, he had found a scared and hidden Wanda crying, although she had no eyes. This depressing sight gave my dad the idea for a really funny joke. So he turned to one of his father-in-arms and said, "Hey Dale, what do you call a fish with no eyes?" A blind fish?" "No, a fish." The battleground went silent. Not a single sliver of sound was made. Not until, like a tsunami, rose a wave of laughter. A dad joke stopped the slaughter of innocents. A dad joke ushered in 1,000 years of total utopian bliss. Oreo. So I now ask again, what do you call a fish with no eyes? The answer is world peace. Finn.